When I was about 9 years old, I was taken to a record shop with my brother by my mum to go and get a Christmas present, and I remember I brought Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five Greatest Messages album. Yeah, that album for me was my first kind of record that I brought that I was like, yeah, this is brilliant. I remember before that actually I was buying things like Adam and the Ants, the Shakin' Stevens album, just rubbish pop music basically that I wasn't really into. So when I first got this kind of hip hop album, it was like, oh, this is the thing for me. It's what I want. I remember really being into this track, The Message, and there's another track, White Lines, on there, which was they're both very popular tunes, but at the time they just sounded so fresh and original. You know, it was great. My brother, I remember, bought a drum machine in 1987, and he learnt how to use, you know, the drum machine and sampling and arranging song sequencing. And so watching him do it, I then sort of tried to have a go myself. So I was always watching and learning what my brother was doing, but by the time it got to about 2000, that's when I actually had my own setup and started learning to really produce music myself. Up until that time, I was literally just learning how to rap and DJ mainly. So, yeah. I dig for samples and, you know, find sections of records that I like, because I'm making quite traditional sounding hip hop. That's the formula that I use, and I use the software Logic to produce, and occasionally using keyboards and stuff as well. But yeah, it's basically just chopping up drums, chopping up bass lines, and fitting it all together, turning it into a song. So I go looking for records in car boot sales and charity shops, and fortunately in Norwich we have a decent amount of record shops, so on a regular I'll go and dig for funk records or jazz and soul, rock, reggae, whatever I see that looks interesting and I feel might have something to use on it, then yeah, that's what I'll go and buy and bring it home, sample it up. I've got way too many records as it is. I'm completely addicted. A lot of them just sit there. I know that I've got samples for decades yet, so yeah. My setup in 2000 that I had was very much the setup that, you know, hip hop was being made in the late 80s and early 90s to give it that more authentic sound. So I had a bit of hardware, an Akai S1000 sampler and an Atari ST computer and a Casio RZ1 to help trigger the samples. I had an old 4-track tape recorder, which was how I used to record my raps and my scratches on top of the beats. So going from that, I then updated to having a PC, and with that obviously became easier using the software, which was easily accessible, like Cubase and Fruity Loops and Reason, all of these kind of bits of software, which actually made it a lot more easier to produce and a lot more convenient. So the hardware just went out, and now I just sit with the Mac. It's just very simple, you know. It's enjoyable. It's a hobby. It's, you know, it's something that I think I'll always like to do. I'll always want to do. I don't think, you know, there's something about actually putting that work in and having a finished track and sitting there with a piece of music that you feel, you know, you've made that and you can play it out, especially because I DJ as well. Sometimes I'll play the music out in the club and getting a response from a crowd as well, and people coming up going, what was that, you know. It was me. Yeah, it's a good feeling, yeah. Yeah, I'll always do it.